right now there's a lot of uncertainty, and buyers, sellers, everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. So it's a turbulent real estate market in general. But having said that, I do think there's a lot of opportunity when there's this sort of turbulence. We have rates going up, you have inflation, you have all of those things. But having said that, I think the market is still doing really well considering all of that in the background.
Biggest pain points is the capital markets and the debt markets. We are in the midst of this very second closing a large construction loan on one of our projects in Long Island City, and it's hard. It's just not easy, and it's gotten a lot harder after the collapse of some of the other smaller banks. We had already signed up our debt deal. We had wanted to maybe do it with a real bank as opposed to a debt fund. With the collapse of a number of the banks, it only made closing this loan that much harder. We haven't closed yet. We're closing on Tuesday, so let's just keep our fingers crossed.
The slowdown in transactions has been palpable. The first quarter of this year, New York City investment sales are down 50% over the prior 4 quarters. So, and yes, since last June when rates started going up, putting downward pressure on pricing, certainly making things more challenging. But I think what really is driving this is that so many investors are on the sidelines right now waiting to make decisions, sellers hoping to wait out the market, buyers, again, hoping there'll be better opportunities down the line. So that's why there's been such a drop in transactions.
I would say that for retail right now, we're occupying a pretty fortunate position. Our pain points were actually a couple of years ago where the market slowed to a complete stop. But really for the last 18 to 24 months, demand has been back in the market. So I feel like we've lived our pain for a little while, and now we're actually enjoying the benefits of being patient and coming through on the other side of it.
The retail market, which is my specialty, is really quite strong. The neighborhoods are on fire. The absorption is terrific. We're going to see rents start to move up again. I just hope that they stabilize at a rent that makes sense for the retailer. I think part of what happened to us was COVID, and the other part was that the rents were just really too high. So from that perspective, we're great. Obviously, we're challenged Midtown and in the CBDs. But really, the challenge is more narrow than people realize because they're really specific, and they're specific to food and beverage.
The biggest pain points here in the city are, from a tenant perspective, we're focused on office, and I'm more focused on office, right? So when we look at the office market, vacancies are high, debt is high, tenants aren't sure of how much space they need long term, so they're holding off on the decisions that they need to make, or they're trying to figure out what are the right decisions to make. So those all put a real challenge out on the market. So that's one of the negatives. Crime is an issue. I think it's getting better. I feel like the city is getting better. It's cleaning up. The subways are getting better, but that's a real challenge. And it's a mindset as well for people that really haven't been into the city much. They haven't seen that it's gotten better. So they hear the stories, right?
Look, I think we are dealing with a very bifurcated marketplace. We have to face that reality. Product that's not invested in, both in infrastructure and in terms of providing amenities, and quite frankly looking at ESG standards and wellness standards, that product that's not well invested in is challenged. Transportation hubs and being around those transportation hubs and a one-stop sort of on the line for people going to work becomes increasingly important in these days. So we are facing challenges, and we're also, let's be clear, facing challenges on crime and safety. Having said that, the plus side that I see is we have a mayor and governor that are collaborating together and working on this, and I think it's actually going to get better in that regard. And of course, we have to continue to invest in the infrastructure of New York and housing. We must have affordable housing to keep the most vibrant workforce, which is what separates New York from every other gateway city we want to talk about or will talk about. To have that vibrant workforce, we must have affordable housing. So I would plead with Albany and our leadership at REBNY, which is exceptional, to make the case that to keep this place vibrant for everybody, we've got to have that kind of housing available.